You know what no one tells you? What happens after you start a channel, and how to turn all of that effort into real media influence. You've mastered the apps, the gear, the workflow. You edit, publish, post, and repeat, and then you repeat again. But the results? Still unpredictable, and you and your business are still invisible. This is Broadcast Your Brand. I'm Camille Garick, Executive Director of Expand ITV, and I teach creators and entrepreneurs how to turn their message into media, their expertise into episodes, and their brand into authority. Because visibility alone isn't enough anymore. The real game is turning your message into a media presence, one that grows your audience, your income, and your impact across every platform. So stop blending in. It's time to become a recognizable brand. First, let's talk about the content grind trap. You start a channel full of energy and vision, but somewhere along the way, that passion turns into pressure, and I mean real pressure. You start chasing metrics, you tweak thumbnails, test hooks, track watch times. At first, it feels like you're making progress, but soon you realize that you're busier than ever, creating endlessly and getting nowhere fast. And now that grind is getting louder. AI can generate videos, posts, even entire personalities at the push of a button. Every platform is being flooded with automated content, millions of clips, captions, and endless accounts, all competing for the same attention. This means that the creator hamster wheel is spinning faster than ever, and the noise is only getting louder. What cuts through now isn't quantity, it's clarity. Not automation, but authenticity. Your audience doesn't want to interact with the perfect algorithm. They want a real voice that they can trust. That's why building a structured media ecosystem, a show series, or a branded presence matters more than ever before. And because AI fills the feed, only creators with a true message and a recognizable media identity will rise above it. So we'll get back to the content grind. And then the algorithm changes. Your views dip and your confidence fades. And you start to think, well, maybe I'm really not cut out for this. If you stay stuck in this grind trap, your message risks getting swept away, and your audience, well, they never really know who you are. So we were told that posting more equals growth, but posting doesn't equal positioning. Content alone doesn't create influence. Having a structured strategy does. And how do you start to build out this structured strategy? Whoa. Next, let's move into visibility versus authority. Let's talk about, when I say visibility, I'm talking about being seen. The likes, the posts, the quick wins, that all comes from showing up often. And yes, millions of people post every single day. That's what visibility is built on. It's built on volume. But authority, that's different. Authority isn't about how much you post. It's about how intentionally you do it. Real authority doesn't come from chasing viral trends. It comes from creating real transformation for your audience through stories that you tell, the value that you share, and the consistency of your presence and your message. True influence happens when you have a structured media strategy, not just random content drops. It's about building a clear signature brand presence that works across every platform without having to be everywhere at once. So next, we're going to talk about what I like to call the invisible expert syndrome. Okay, so you're brilliant, you have insight, expertise, experience, but the internet rewards dopamine, not depth. You're not only competing with other experts, you're competing with the algorithm constantly, every day. So every week you make content, you slice up your story into smaller clips, faster hooks, and shorter moments until the one thing that made you valuable in the first place gets lost. So you don't need more videos, you need a system, a signature show series that builds trust and anticipation in your audience. It gives your voice rhythm. It turns your wisdom into a world that people can return to again and again. This is the foundation of building media influence and authority that last. So here's the framework that changes everything. Your message is your anchor, the why behind your work, your truth, and your promise. This is not a tagline, it is the heartbeat of your brand. So ask yourself, what do I stand for when the camera is off? What transformations do I create for my audience that no one else can? And what belief drives every story that I tell? Without this, you're just adding to the noise. With it, you're creating an emotional movement. For example, Carmen Milagro has a show called Wellness 360. When Carmen started out, it was just simple sharing of natural wellness tips. But her real message was about empowering people to decide what's best for them when it comes to their own health and wellness choices. Her belief was simple but revolutionary back then. Your well-being is in your hands. Once we defined that message, Wellness 360 became more than a show. It has now become a wellness movement. And as Carmen's media influence expanded, so has her mission. She founded the Divina World Foundation to preserve and celebrate Indigenous wisdom in storytelling. Her next project is the Indigenous Music Hall of Fame, a virtual museum that uses VR technology to safeguard stories, music, and tradition of Indigenous nations threatened by climate change. That's what a clear message does. It transforms your expertise into emotion and your content into connection. So, what's the core belief or the value that connects every part of your story? Maybe you're a fitness coach helping people rebuild their confidence. Confidence is the feeling. Maybe you're a business mentor teaching freedom from burnout. Freedom is the feeling. Those are the connections. That is your message. That is your foundation. So, step 2, your media. Your media is the vehicle that carries your message out into the world. Most people think media just means posting on social media or buying better gear, cameras, lighting, that sort of thing. But that's not a real media strategy. True media mastery comes from having a system, a structure that turns your ideas into consistent and meaningful visibility. Because your media defines how your audience experiences you. It's the difference between random uploads and a signature show series that sit at the center of your entire media ecosystem. For example, we have Rocio Perez with the Mind Shift game. Rocio is the perfect example of what happens when your message and your media line up perfectly. She grew up in an abusive home and became a mother at just 14 years old. For years, she fought every statistic that said she couldn't succeed. Her message became her mission. No matter where you come from, you can rise and you can rewrite your story. First, she built the Mind Shift game, which is a physical board game to help people shift their thinking, and then transform that into a signature show series on Expand ITV. Now she has expanded her vision even further with the Mind Shift experience. This is a cognitive and psychological training program used by corporations, schools, and communities to teach how mindset drives success. She's written 4 books, speaks globally, and is featured regularly in national media as a leadership and mindset expert. Rocio's story proves that when your media is intentional and structured, your message moves from overlooked to unforgettable. That's the power of media as a vehicle. It turns your message from a story into a system, from passion into a platform. When you design your media intentionally, your audience shows up for you, not just your topic. So step 3 is authority, your presence in motion. This is the moment when everything you built starts to ripple outward. Authority happens when your message and your media align so clearly that people don't just recognize you, they remember you. They quote you. They invite you to speak. They mention your name in rooms that you have never even walked in yet. Real authority isn't something that you declare or announce. It's something that people assign to you because your consistency proves it. So, an example of this is building a media franchise mindset. When you look at today's top creators from Mel Robbins to Mr. Beast, you'll notice something important. They're not just creators anymore, they're media franchises. Let's take Mr. Beast. He started with a camera, a YouTube channel, and a simple mission to entertain, to challenge himself, and to give back. But over time, he didn't just build a following, he built a system. And now he runs a full media enterprise, brand extensions, partnerships, streaming shows, global licensing. This is all built around his signature storytelling style. That's what happens when you create content. The content becomes more than content. It becomes intellectual property. Your message turns into media, and your media becomes a brand asset that you can grow anywhere. Mr. Beast isn't just uploading videos anymore. He's producing for television, streaming networks, and beyond. He made the leap from online creator to showrunner, from channel owner to company founder. And that is the future. It's the difference between running a channel and running a company, between making content and creating real impact. That's what building authority means, starting to think like a franchise. Because when you do, every episode, every interview, every post becomes part of something bigger, a connected, scalable media ecosystem that keeps your audience engaged wherever they watch, listen, or scroll. This is how today's creators become tomorrow's iconic brands, and how brands grow into trusted authorities that shape industries, set standards, and inspire what's next. So before we move on, grab a notebook and answer 3 questions. What is the deeper truth behind your message? What do you want your audience to feel when they watch your show? Now, how could that become a repeatable show series with themes, interviews, structure? And where do you want your authority to take you next? If you can name these 3 things, you've just designed the foundation of your signature show series. Okay, so the creator economy isn't dying, but it is getting more crowded and it's evolving. Right now, the digital landscape is shifting, shaped by streaming, AI, and the rise of creator-led brands. We're moving from social creators to media authorities. Every day, thousands of new creators hit post. Most of them are chasing the same trends, recycling the same formulas, and hoping that the algorithm notices them. The ones who will rise above this, they're the showrunners, the creators who think like producers. They plan their message, shape their stories, and lead every aspect of their brand with intention. They don't just post, they program. They build experiences that flow together like seasons of a show, creating a signature presence that people trust and come back to. This is the new landscape. It isn't about chasing attention, it's about building connections. Because the next wave of visibility will go to the creators who build experiences, not just content, and who turn their message into something that people can truly follow, trust, and remember. So here's the challenge. Stop asking, how can I post more and get more subscribers, and start thinking about, how do I build real media influence and authority? This is the journey that we're together on Broadcast Your Brand. And in the next episode, How to Build a Binge-Worthy Brand, you'll discover why episodic show-style content is the new standard for authority, and how to create your own step-by-step. So hit the subscribe button, download your free signature show series starter kit, and remember, don't just talk or post about your brand in your own social media feed. Let's broadcast your brand.